virus, and not exactly in every single way that you might think of virus. We're going to call a lot of things virus.
I used to call an ex virus. She was a virus though.
There's two of us. I did that too. I have several viruses.
Ugh. Time to get a vaccine for those too.
Are y'all into the Christmas holidays yet? Have you gotten into that?
No.
No.
Not either.
I want to, but I can't.
Do. Me too. I want to. I posted today. My goals for the week. I'm going to get into the holidays, and I'm going to put my crazy Uncle Donald in a home in Palm Beach County.
Nothing screams Christmas
Never to
like
be
that.
heard of again. Well, welcome to Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only daily, and its first and only daily evening news. It's time to queer up the news. Monday, December 14th, a date that will live in infamy. Today is a historic day in America. The LGBTQ community celebrates today over the horrible year we've had in 2020, as we made a sharp turn to the better. First this morning, the first shots of COVID-19 vaccine were administered, appropriately enough, to a frontline nurse in Long Island, New York. The major pandemic virus of our lifetime will now change forever.
However, today, Monday, December 14th, we began the vaccination of another virus, the virus of Donald J. Trump. Today, the vaccination from the Electoral College was administered as a significant majority of electors followed over 80 million votes to elect Joe Biden president and Kamala Harris vice president. Like Italy's Mussolini, Germany's Hitler, the Cold War's Joe McCarthy, the Soviet Union's Khrushchev, all rejected anti-democratic strongmen whose ideas have been tried and soundly rejected.
So to today's vaccination at the Electoral College did the same for America's despot, Donald J. Trump. Today he proves what we've always knew. He is a loser, and now in true reality show fashion, America has fired him. Monday, December 14th, 2020.
So good evening, LGBTQ world. It is 7 p.m. Monday, December 14th, and we are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight. The world's first live daily queer evening news show, Out of the Closet and Into the Headlines on Q News Tonight. Well, thank you for joining Queer News Tonight. This is a live, unedited LGBTQ evening news show. So whatever happens, you're going to see it. This evening, we bring you the news of and a perspective representing the LGBTQ community from South Florida, America, and across our world. I'm your Queer News Tonight anchor, Al Ferguson. Tonight, let's welcome anchor Faye What? She is out, she's proud, and unfortunately for me sitting next to her, she's very loud.
Not that loud.
She's a Latina to be reckoned with, half Puerto Rican, half Colombian, and 100% freaking Jersey. She is the popular blog and YouTube channel, Faye What? Welcome, Faye.
Hola, mi gente. So happy to be here.
Yeah. What did I say, America? Next, let's welcome anchor Tony Lima. He is the Chief Operating Officer of Ariana Center and Trans Latina Florida, the only direct service and advocacy organization based here in South Florida, led by a trans Latina openly living with HIV, with a mission to uplift and support transgender women of color in Florida, Puerto Rico, and beyond. This is one of the most important trans activist groups in America, and he is also a longtime South Florida, and longtime might be a little older, longtime South Florida LGBTQ activist, advocate, and political operative, as well as a seasoned, whoops.
He said senior.
Seasoned communicator, marketer, and fundraiser. Welcome, Tony.
Thank you for that lovely introduction, Al.
I'm going to pay for that through this entire news broadcast. All right, tonight let's begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast, and here are the bullet points of the queer news for today, Monday, December 14th. First up, we report that we queer up South Florida. Wilton Manors, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm, and Miami Beach top the HRC's 2020 equality list. 4 cities in South Florida have received today perfect scores in the 2020 Human Rights Campaign Municipal Equality Index report, including Wilton Manors, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, and Miami Beach. Nadine Smith, Executive Director of Equality Florida, said on the achievement, quote, "People are waking up to the reality of glaring systemic inequalities, and tools like the Municipal Equality Index help them move from being overwhelmed to understanding where progress can be made." Florida has been the vanguard of the entire South in adopting proactive local policies. The MEI shows us that even with those tremendous advances, we must continue to hold our local officials accountable to advancing pro-equality policies that reflect our values, end quote. This is the 9th annual Municipal Equality List HRC has compiled. Across the U.S., 94 cities earned perfect scores this year, up from 88 last year. Wilton Manors, known as Broward County's neighborhood and home to Queer News Tonight, is one of those cities that came out on top, and this is the 7th time in a row doing so. Wilton Manors City Commissioner Paul Rowley said other cities have reached out to them over the years to ask how they continue to earn perfect scores. He said, quote, "It's simple. We create and implement policies and practices that promote equality and a safe environment for all who live in, work in, and visit Wilton Manors. I am so thankful that the Human Rights Campaign continues to recognize our leadership," end quote. Chris Caputo, who was just elected to the City Commission in the last month, added, quote, "Residents and business owners in the city of Wilton Manors should be proud. Our city's laws and policies demonstrate our appreciation for diversity, including our support for transgender inclusive healthcare benefits and our city contractor non-discrimination ordinance. We deserve the international reputation we've received for being a great place for LGBTQ individuals and families to call home," end quote. Fort Lauderdale tops the list for the 2nd year in a row, and overall 7 cities in Florida received perfect scores. The others include Orlando, St. Petersburg, and Tampa. A few other cities came close to perfect, though, like Tallahassee and Oakland Park, both of which received a 99.
So now this is more like it, guys. This is more like it. Remember last week we did a story on Q News about Fort Lauderdale being one of the unsafest, being real down on the list of 183 cities that were checked out. Now this is more like it. Now I'm actually kind of surprised though as to like Miami Shores. I live near there, and their numbers went down dramatically the last couple of years, and they're a pretty gay-friendly area. So yes, kudos. We should all be following. Wilton Manors. Lead there for sure.
I think I'm surprised by Tallahassee out of this list. Given the fact that Tallahassee, I went to school in Tallahassee, and Tallahassee is still considered the Deep South. After many years, I still lobby and work in Tallahassee as well. And it's not the most inclusive place, as you can imagine. So seeing it on this list is quite surprising.
Well, I was going to make a joke about that, that the university was lit by candlelight when Tony went to school. So there's probably been some changes that have gone on in Tallahassee.
It's the senior thing again. Okay.
Yeah, exactly,
this is going to be a theme
right?
today.
That's going to be a theme today. But I think you do hit the bullseye. One of the great things is the farther north you go in Florida, the more conservative it becomes. And that's, I hear you loud and clear, Tony. Very great news for Fort Lauderdale. Miami Beach, of course, we're happy for. West Palm Beach, our home in Wilton Manors, 7 years in a row. That's all you need to say. For 7 years in a row, Wilton Manors has been one of the leading cities in the United States for equality and equality inclusion. Great.
Next, let's queer up business. 10 queer-owned small businesses to shop gifts for the holidays and beyond. In 2020, the coronavirus has accelerated the growing gap between local and corporate businesses. The landscape looks increasingly grim. Jeff Bezos' wealth rose by an estimated $48 billion from March to June, while Amazon workers organized strikes throughout the year to demand fairer pay and COVID protections. So spending your money at a small business could go further than ever before, especially as we enter the holiday shopping season. This has never been more true for LGBTQ small businesses. At Queer News Tonight, we have organized some recommendations for the best LGBTQ local choices. Who can't use a little queer-wee designs? Rebecca Lynn created a two-spirit indigenous and LGBTQ company that has amazing traditional beadwork design with modern LGBTQ pride colors. Neckties are not just for gay boys anymore. I want a necktie. Bowtie Behavior. Founder Robin Williams, this Harlem-based brand aims to help everyone feel comfortable, fly, and at home within themselves. Bow ties and pocket squares have never been so fashionable. I can see Tony Lima wearing some of these. Not breakfast at Tiffany's, but it's Momo Metals. Founder Monique Peterson created this independent jewelry brand based in Philadelphia. Her unique designs have created national attention in unique, one-of-a-kind presentations. Our answer is because. Founder Hawawa Ibrahim created a fashion brand that should not be taken too seriously. The Black Muslim is creating national attention in and out of the LGBTQ community because they sell rainbow crochet sweaters, pom-pom earrings, and flowing frocks for all genders. From baking to beanies at Tiffnit's. Brooklyn chef and baker Tiff Bryant creates hand-knit beanies for all genders, hair types, and head shapes. Created from a sheep farm in upstate New York that hand-spin and naturally dye the yarn. The unique brand is environmentally friendly and fashionable. We all need to queer collections. Wesley Collins and Devin Mizzou are the queer agenda makers behind Queer Collections. The independent Sacramento-based shop offers chain jewelry with fun charms like mushrooms, tarot cards, or even letters spelling they, them, or any out pronouns. The brand was started when both lost their jobs due to COVID-19. The virus may give them the last laugh. Perhaps official rebrand, designer Me Leggett is the founder, a clothing brand that sells upcycled garments altered with original paintings and drawings. They describe the process of transforming these clothes as a, quote, celebration of identity fluidity by disassociating garments from gendered categories, end quote. Consider Sapphic Apothecary. Anne Farino is the owner and founder of Sapphic Apothecary, a Philadelphia-based business that makes hand-poured, organic, and ethically sourced soy candles. Candles contribute to harming the environment. Enter Sapphic Apothecary that can provide environmental soundness with the beauty of flickering candlelight. How about Stuzo? Founder Stony Michelle Love and Stuzo make clothes for humans and not genders. They launched the Los Angeles-based genderless fashion brand in 2010, and since then they've offered apparel and accessories that cater to the Black queer community and beyond. Give these amazing and emerging LGBTQ brands a closer look. And this year of all years, try to shop local, both inside and outside the LGBTQ community.
I love this story. I love that all of this new clothing, different types of garments are made for people that are gender fluid or not gender specific. I think that's really exciting. I myself, very recently, was given a caftan, a very masculine caftan, I have to say, because of course I'm one of those older guys, as Al has said continuously, that sort of keeps to my gender role, the gender that I present. But I think it's exciting that people are doing this kind of stuff to make sure that they're inclusive and bringing more folks into the fashion realm, if you will.
You know, it's a two-sided coin. I do not criticize Bezos for making $48 billion in the second quarter of 2020. He was in the right place at the right time. Amazon's been around a long time. My goodness, no business brand in the world has benefited more of the economics that are going on in 2020. However, if I can help it, I want to spend my dollar in local. And in local LGBT I can. And this is just some examples. We encourage you for holiday shopping to look at these brands that we gave you 10 really interesting choices. But this is true for our shops. This is true for our neighborhoods. This is true for our local restaurants. Walking into Ruth Chris, you might love Ruth Chris, but it is not a local restaurant. And in 2020 and into, for sure, the first quarter of 21, we need to spend our money where we have dramatic effect on the survivability of our community, and that is local.
You know, if 2020 has shown us anything, it's taught us how to buy everything online. We can even get our groceries online, right? So do all your Christmas shopping online, but do it local. These wonderful places just look like great gifts for the LGBTQ community and beyond. But like you said, small business, local business, so important to shop there. I have a small business. I have a dog sitting company. And if we had a storefront, there would be no way that we would have survived this year. So please go out, buy local, do all your shopping from one of these places, and your heart will sleep better at night as well.
And by the way, Tony, a grinder is not considered a local business. So, well, that's another story.
Good to know, and thank you for that, Al. And now, with that, it's time to queer up entertainment. And another RuPaul story that I get to tell you about. Alaska and Willam on launching a drag network with Moguls of Media on Queerty TV. Watch this.
That's right. Each week, me and Latrice will be telling you who's on top and who gets the chop.
6 feet, bitch. Girl, we've been measuring up for years.
¿Quieres patitas, mami?
Measuring up is very bad.
Ow. Ow, mom. Ow. Ow, it hurts. Ah, titi.
Don't forget about me! I know that we weren't on that show that they always talk about. Just because I'm loud means my parents hate me.
Everybody's got a dream. That's right. Our podcast, Sloppy Seconds, is all about queer culture, embarrassing sex stories, and celebrity interviews.
And on Wednesdays we do Race Chaser with Alaska and Willam, and on Fridays we do Hot Goss with Willam and Alaska.
That's right. We'll continue to provide you with a stunning array of audio and video content to please your eyes and ears. So, at the Mom Network, remember to tune in and subscribe!
I love those ladies. Alaska and Willam need no introduction. And apparently, the Moguls of Media are now competing with Queer News Tonight, and we love it. The ferocious and irreverent drag performers gained international attention by competing on RuPaul's Drag Race, with Willam appearing in Season 4 of the series. Alaska made her debut in Season 5 of the program before going on to win Season 2 of Drag Race All-Stars. Together, the queens have built a loyal following through their podcast series, Race Chaser, offering commentary on Drag Race and Hot Goss, where the two lampoon celebrities and current events. Now the two Drag Race vets and two-time Queerty Award winners step into their latest venture, launching a network of podcasts called Moguls of Media, or MOM. They are hell-bent about the network and their plans for world domination. The Moguls of Media Christmas special launches December 16th. Good luck, girls. Everyone at Happening Out Television Network are cheering for you.
Well, first and foremost, I love Queerty. I think it's an outstanding LGBTQ media news platform, and I'm really beginning to enjoy this. Silly, frequently. You can see the budget issues frequently, and who cares? In this time of us watching everything digitally, they're hitting it out of the park, and I congratulate all of them. It is so much fun, and at Queer News Tonight and Happening Out Television Network, we're cheering you every step of the way.
Hey, and budget issues are budget issues. You remember what RuPaul's Drag Race looked like Season 1, right? In comparison to what it looks like now, so it's okay. Have fun. World domination drag style. I'm all in. All in.
You just asked Tony to step outside into the parking lot with you.
I was gonna say we need some of that like special RuPaul lens for this show sometimes. So maybe we can look into that. But you know what I love about this? That Alaska and Willam are giving other queens the opportunity and the platform to continue making their magic. And I think that's a very positive thing, especially when these entertainers over the last 10 months or so haven't had venues to be able to perform in. It's important that they remain relevant and can continue connecting with their audiences.
Yeah. Content is good. Even bad content is still good.
See? Look at us.
Exactly.
Next,
We're here.
I wasn't going to say it.
Next, let's queer up gay culture. The 10 most historic and iconic gay bars in America. At no time since the 1969 Stonewall riots have our gay bars been under greater attack than in 2020. This time we can't see the violators. It's a virus called Corona. So it's more important than ever to support our gay culture institutions. So we take a look at our most historic and iconic gay bars in America. How many of these historic venues have you visited or been drunk in or even heard of?
Like the White Horse Inn in Oakland, California. claims to be the oldest continually operating gay bar in the US. It was officially opened in 1933 and has been attracting gay customers since around that time.
Cafe, I've been in this bar so many times. Cafe Lafitte in Exile, New Orleans. Like the White Horse in Oakland, Louisiana's Cafe Lafitte in Exile also stakes a claim as the oldest gay bar in the U.S. still in operation. It also dates back to the end of Prohibition in 1933, thank goodness, the end of Prohibition, but may have been operating unofficially before that time. It can be found in New Orleans' historic French Quarter.
I thought you were going to say something about 1933 and Tony Lima being around there.
Mind you, I think I'm the youngest person sitting on this set right now.
Blah, blah,
I'm just
blah.
saying.
What's
so.
the next
I'm just
great
saying.
bar, Faye?
Atlantic House in Provincetown. It's impossible to say how long gay people have favored this Cape Cod venue as a watering hole, but it's been at least 60 years and probably several decades longer. Provincetown has been attracting an LGBTQ crowd since the start of the 20th century, when it became a popular retreat for artists and writers.
Twin Peaks Tavern, San Francisco, is in the heart of the Castro. It is one of the city's most famous gay bars and has a history stretching back almost 50 years. It opened in 1935, but was taken over by lesbian friends and relaunched in 1972. Mary Ellen Kuna and Peggy Forster did something radical at the time. They uncovered the windows, making Twin Peaks the first gay bar in the US to have big, clear windows so people could see in from the street. Previously, gay bars were boarded up or hidden behind discreet doors.
You know, the first thing I thought of is it's never a good thing when you say you've been taken over by lesbians. I'm just saying. Next up, Wild Side West, San Francisco. Wild Side West has been gay-owned since its launch as Wild Side in Oakland in 1962, catering predominantly to the lesbian community. It relocated in 1964 to Broadway in San Francisco, changing its name to Wild Side West in the process, and then its current location in Bernal Heights in 1976.
The Hole in the Wall, San Diego. This cozy California dive bar has a history going back to the 1920s. It was a speakeasy during Prohibition and began to earn itself a reputation as a gay-friendly hangout in the 1940s.
The Rail, San Diego, another of the longest-running gay bars in the whole country. The Rail, formerly the Brass Rail, has a history dating back to 1934. It first opened in downtown's historic Orpheum Theater building before relocating to Hillcrest in the early 1960s.
Oil Can Harry's, Los Angeles. Oil Can Harry's has been welcoming gay men through its doors, particularly leathermen and cowboy lovers, since 1968. You'll find it in the San Fernando Valley, far away from West Hollywood.
Julius, New York City. Julius is believed to be the oldest continually operating gay bar in New York City. The venue opened in 1867. It began to get a reputation as a gay hangout in the 1950s, a reputation its management at the time took steps to try and quell by sometimes refusing to serve people who they knew to be gay.
The Stonewall Inn, New York City. Stonewall is probably the most famous gay bar in the world. The venue had existed for several decades, mainly as a restaurant, when it was taken over by a mafia mobster in 1967 and relaunched as a gay bar. On a hot June night in 1969, it was raided by police and patrons famously fought back, leading to several nights of protest and rioting. The uprising helped advance the modern LGBTQ rights movement and the birth of pride festivals worldwide. Madonna, Taylor Swift, and Joe Biden are among those who have visited the bar, now under new owners, in recent years to pay tribute to its place in gay history. The 2020 pandemic has had a massive impact on the Stonewall as a business, but a successful GoFundMe campaign has succeeded in raising over $300,000 to guarantee it should be around for some time to come. Our most historic gay venues, support them. We want to keep them.
Absolutely. And it's interesting to me, I was a little sad when I was reading some of the history of these most iconic bars. Nowhere in Florida made the list. The closest that would have made the list is the Parliament House, which has just recently closed. The issue with our history, our gay culture history, is if we don't support our culture will not survive. And we have had many great ones in Florida that could be in this list. The Warsaw, the Copa, that could be in this list, and sadly are no longer here. So I loved doing this story, but it also made me a little sad because we got to work harder in 21 to make sure these bars and others stay with us.
Well, and I wonder if the younger generation understand the importance of these gay bars and what they contributed to our LGBTQ history.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Marsha P. Johnson, hello. I mean, come on, we wouldn't, all the prides that we've ever had would have never happened if it wasn't for those trailblazers way back when.
Yeah. Speaking of way back when, Tony, any final comments?
Here we go again. Well, what I was going to say is, as a people, historically, gay bars and clubs have been where we can be ourselves. So to consider seeing a list like this and knowing that unless we actively patron these places, they close down, we need to work harder to make sure that they stay around and be a part of living history.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of like Al, living history.
Right. All right. I deserve that. I deserve it. All right.
There we go. So now it's time to queer up the world. Bolivia holds its first same-sex civil union after a 2-year legal battle. In an incredible step forward for LGBTQ+ rights, a civil registry in Bolivia has authorized its first same-sex couple civil union. The decision comes after a 2-year legal battle between couple David Aruquipa and Guido Montaño and the Bolivia authorities. LGBTQ+ rights have made massive strides in Latin America in recent years. Same-sex marriage is legal in Argentina, Ecuador, Brazil, Colombia, Uruguay, and parts of Mexico. Earlier this year, the Brazilian Supreme Court ruled in favor of allowing gay and bisexual and other men who have sex with men to donate blood.
Well, that's our queer headlines for today. So let's catch up on the LGBTQ news surrounding COVID-19 with our special segment called Quarantine Quickies. Tonight, we report the devastating effect coronavirus has had on the American and worldwide LGBTQ community in total cases and deaths. Let's queer up Quarantine Quickies. 100 9/11 events have occurred in 2020. Is it too much for LGBTQ Americans to mourn at that level? Watch this.
This is what it looks like when you breathe 40 times a minute, have an oxygen level that's dipping well below 80. This is what it's going to look like. I hope that the last moments of your life don't look like this. Because this is what you'll see at the end of your life if we don't start wearing masks when we're out in public. When we don't practice social distancing. When we don't wash our hands frequently. Because I promise you, this will be what you see. I promise you, this is what your mother or your father or your children, when they get COVID disease, will see at the end of their life. This is serious. I beg you, please practice the precautions to reduce transmission of COVID disease so that we can effectively prevent disease for you and your loved ones.
Stunning. Dr. Kenneth Remy. Today, the news on COVID-19 continues to be grim. We have had the 7th consecutive day of the highest ICU hospitalizations in all of 2020. Today, we are also crossing the milestone today of 300,000 Americans lost to coronavirus. At Queer News Tonight, we have reported on every COVID-19 in every single broadcast in 2020. We have reported the failures of President Trump and the White House Coronavirus Commission. We have reported medical recommendations of hand sanitizer, masks, and social distancing. We have reported on the rumors and the debunked inaccuracies, including it's going to be a miracle and Clorox. But today, we focus on 300,000 Americans dead crossing that threshold today. America came to a stop for an entire month with 9/11 and 2,900 tragic deaths. Today, in just 9 months, we have had more than 100 9/11s in terms of loss as of today. A 9/11 is occurring now every 3 days. So why has it not impacted our thoughts and our souls in the same way? What is different this time for the LGBTQ community? Our next conversations with vaccine distribution, of how many are still going to die. Some estimates another 300,000 deaths will occur, and what's next will be facing the grief we have not yet faced in our LGBTQ community.
300,000. You know, I started keeping a diary at the beginning of this whole thing, and I remember them announcing it on the news saying, we might hit 100,000. Oh my God, if we don't take these proper precautions. And here we are at 300,000. The only thing that would make somebody not believe that this is true, it would take somebody really close to them to die. And at this point, everybody knows somebody that has passed away or has been gravely affected by this. Yet, we still need a cop to tell us to put our mask on? What the hell is going on?
I think what we're missing, Faye, is that visual. 9/11 was a very real thing that we all watched happen before our eyes. And as you say, there's a lot of people that have had loved ones die, or we know people, but it hasn't hit us specifically. And I think that's why there's a little bit of a lack of empathy. There's a little bit of a lack of sensitivity to this all, which is heartbreaking. Because as we just watched that video and watching what that doctor was explaining, I welled up. You know, it's a very serious thing, and it's very easily solved. You wear your mask, you wash your hands, you use hand sanitizer, you keep a social distance between each other. So it's very important things that we all need to continue to remember, even as this vaccine is on the way.
How many people have died alone? Alone in a hospital without a family member, and that being the last thing they saw was the doctor.
It's happening. Our host, Ron Berninsky, died alone at Miami Palmetto Hospital. You know, I appreciate so much both of your comments and what y'all have just said. I just have to say to you that what's washing over me today, Monday, December 14th, is irony. I believe in irony. I believe in the idea that strange things coalesced. Some people say it's higher power. Some people say it's random luck, whatever you believe. But today we insert the first shots in arm to a nurse in Long Island, and we cross 300,000 deaths on the same day. And we just watched that brilliant video of Dr. Remy saying, please God, I hope this is not the last thing that you or your parents or your grandparents see. The LGBTQ community, why are we not processing this in the way that we should? We know social distancing is important. We know masks save lives, and we know hand sanitizing works. We've reported this in every single Queer News Tonight in 2020. I honestly feel like I personally, as anchor at Q News, have done my part, but I feel like I'm kind of losing the battle. And in a way, I feel like Dr. Remy going, what is it I can do to tell you to propel that this still is dangerous and 300,000 people are going to die before this vaccine has the effect that it has. So irony today. Great celebration on the vaccine, great sadness of the threshold we crossed today. Well, that's it for our COVID-19 news and discussion for tonight at Queer News Tonight. Next at Queer News Tonight, we are proud to support our local celebrities, influencers, drag queens, personalities, and entertainers from the LGBTQ community. And tonight, a little happy news. We are pleased to feature our very own DJ Diva Power Infiniti, born Dale Wilson. They are a master DJ and renowned performance artist and entertainer known for their dance music lip syncs at nightclubs and circuit party events all over the world. Their signature semi-drag look, often with a shaved head, outrageous costumes, dancing skills, and choreography have made them an icon in the circuit nightlife scene. And they are very special to the Happening Out family as one of the original hosts of It's Happening Out, the world's most popular live gay TV show from and broadcasted in the gayest place on planet Earth. Launching the return of their hit talk show Infini-Tea, T-E-A, tonight with artist and outspoken personality Cam Art. Please welcome all of our friends, DJ Diva, Power Infiniti.
Woohoo!
Hey, Power, good evening.
Hey,
Hey, Boo,
Hey,
look at the
child.
gloves. I love the gloves. Let me see those.
What's the going on?
Well, now, first off, let me throw the first read right out there. America, if you don't know, Power and I had a big bet on the election, and I bet him that he was going to be thrown off Facebook. Power Infiniti pulled the Donald Trump playbook page and cheated and was able to get out of being thrown out of Facebook, and that is the only way he has won the bets.
Okay,
we'll
but
show it to you.
Well, I won, and Al is pulling a Donald Trump and not accepting the law. So
That's what I was going to say. When you guys first had the bet
We're
going,
going
was
to
that
recount
something?
the votes, I assure you.
Oh,
Before we get
no.
to that dinner, we're going to recount the votes. And I've got my friend Rudy Giuliani. He's going to be coming in. He's going to get in front of the courts. And we're going to be all good. Power, tell us about Infiniti and tell us about what you're doing there. It's a very interesting idea.
Well, before I tell you about Infini-Tea, I just want to bring you guys some breaking news that you guys don't know about because you have been broadcasting. So, breaking news, William Barr, Attorney General William Barr, is stepping down.
Oh, wow.
Bye-bye.
Wow.
That happened as you guys were in broadcast, so I just wanted to share that.
So he must have a good Christmas.
He is stepping down.
Wait,
Infiniti-
before we move on to Infiniti, do you care much about politics? Barr, Trump? I haven't heard much from you on this
Really, Al?
Well, there was once upon a time that I didn't care, but I will. That's one of the things I can credit Trump for. He got me activated and motivated, and now he's out. He shouldn't have woke me up.
You walked him to the curb, so to speak.
He shouldn't have woke me up.
Woke the beast.
But Infiniti is just that. It's what I call the friendversation. It's a friendversation, and it's myself and different special guests. Some of them artists, some of them political, some of them public figures, community leaders. But people that I feel that are relevant to the topics that are going on at the moment. And it's basically my one-on-one talk show. Sometimes it's two-on-one. Sometimes we have three ways. But it's my talk show.
You just couldn't wait to do that, could you? You just couldn't wait.
And it's a key and a cackle, and it's a power talk show, Power's way.
Yeah, and believe me, America, there's truth in that statement. It's Power's way. Believe me, we have tangled about 3,000 times in the last 2.5 years. As I told you, Power's an original host, and Power and I are original hosts at It's Happening Out. When we launched it, we have launched 1,000 talk shows in the LGBTQ community online. It started really very significantly from It's Happening Out, and Power and I doing it together, and we have been imitated and imitated and imitated. Mostly not as well as the original, I point out, but
Never.
you don't have people like Power in those products. Tell us what night, how does it work? Is it live?
Yes, it's a live talk show. It launches via StreamYard, and you can go to my page, Dale H. Wilson, and see it. And please make sure to share it. Tonight, my special guest is his name is Cam Art. His name is Cam. We call him Cam. He's a local artist here in Tampa, but he is a celebrity artist. Cam has done paintings and such celebrities as Lizzo, Britney Spears, Lady Gaga, and I don't mean he just paints them and just hangs them up. No, he paints them, and these celebrities usually come and either commission these paintings, he's given them to them. They have shouted him out. They have praised him. Lizzo did an interview where she pointed out to one of the outfits that he gave her, a denim jacket that he painted on the back of it for her. And she gave him a shout out as she was doing this interview. So he is, and he also, I think, most notably recently, he was one of the heroic painters that painted the Black Lives mural on our Tampa streets.
Oh, wow.
in
Very
Tampa.
nice.
He was one of the artists that painted the mural.
And,
So.
looking forward to watching that painter Cam art. Power, you always do Infini-Tea on Tuesday night or Monday nights? Sorry, on Monday nights.
No, I usually do it. I usually do it when it's best for the guests. I try to do it on Mondays, but sometimes it
can be other times,
and
then you can see it repeatedly. If you don't tune in that live stream, then you can see it later.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll be happy to know, Al, that had you just extended that bet till the end of the year, you would have won because I'm in Facebook jail again.
Oh
no way!
Oh,
Are you serious?
Why is that?
He's got his own private room there.
Batman is laughing at the Joker right before your very eyes. Oh my goodness.
What put you in there this time, Power?
Exactly.
Girl, at this point, Facebook doesn't even tell me anymore. I just go on and
do it.
30 days, bitch.
Yeah.
They don't even tell me.
Is it a 30-day suspension?
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
All right, and one last question. Power, we were reading all the rumors. You are the Queen of South Beach. You have been since the 1960s. And since you started your glorious entertainment career, I'm reading the stuff in social media that you're kind of quasi-semi-retiring. Tell us all about that.
Well, I've decided to leave nightlife. That is not to be mistaken for leaving our community, leaving the world. I'm still going to be outspoken. I'm still going to be an advocate and an activist. I'm still going to be me. And I will still be launching and promoting and throwing events that I feel that are positively impact our community, i.e. I sit on the board of Tampa's Pride. I do Queen of the Night, which is my competition. It's Central Florida's biggest competition, and I do that once or twice a year. And I think those things benefit our community. So I'm going to stick with those things that benefit our community and my world. But I'm exiting nightlife because I'm on a different journey. I'm rediscovering my path with God and my spirituality, and I really want to focus on that and not so much other things.
We're glad we're not losing you completely. And give us a quick update on Tampa Pride. What's going to happen? Normally the last Saturday in March, all of Florida leans in and goes, what's happening in Tampa?
Tampa Pride is going to, all things considering, and hopefully nothing goes wrong, Tampa Pride is actually slated for May of 2021, not March. Okay. So we'll be... and we have some great
full
things.
Vaccine. Half of America is probably going to be vaccinated by May 1st. So that's good news. Yeah. All right. Now, Power, before I let you go, Infiniti tonight at 8 o'clock live. What time is it? Or it's just a rebroadcast?
Or you can watch your show in rebroadcast.
You, sir, are a hateful bitch. What can I say, America? Wait, you should shut up now because you're in Facebook jail. So what time, it doesn't really matter. You can watch it anytime you want. That's the best time to do it. When it's good for you, you watch it. Now, Power, this is the most important question I have asked you in 2.5 years, in like however many 100-ish shows that we've done it. It's happening out. The most important question. Could you lean in close for me? Lean in close so I can get your eyes. Watch his eyes closely. When are you having Al on Infini-Tea?
Oh, I think he's got a bad connection.
Wait,
did I lose you? Power!
I did say I had important people on the broadcast. So why don't you work on that, Al, and then we'll talk, all right?
He deserves that tonight, Power.
You know.
He absolutely deserves that.
All right. This is why Power Infiniti is Power Infiniti. He insults the host, and Facebook says you're in jail. Congratulations. You have watched classic brand of Power Infiniti. Good luck, Power. It sounds like a great interview, a great show. Infiniti, and watch it. Power, I follow, everybody knows this because I talk about it a lot. I follow Power's social media. because it's so damn entertaining. He's just sitting there like a spider up in the corner, waiting for somebody to come into the room and then devour them like a black widow. And he does it frequently, and I love watching it. Hundreds of people can get into a conversation, and Power's going, okay, all right, next, and let's move on. It is the magic of Power Infinity. And make sure you tune in, America. It's called Infini-Tea. Power, I'm going to see you. Are you on It's Happening Out on Wednesday?
I am. And I'm also on Gay Town Hall on Thursday. So I'm here all week, folks.
All right. So you're a media whore. I got it.
That's right.
All right. Good luck on the show tonight. And Power, thanks for being with Queer News tonight.
Take care. Goodbye, Faye. Goodbye, Tony.
Bye.
All right, next we are going to report in that Happening Out television network helps support our LGBTQ community. An example of that is Sunshine Cathedral. It is the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale, and we are broadcasting from our permanent set here in supporting that partnership. The network broadcasts the largest LGBTQ religious broadcast in the world, with more than 30,000 watching every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, and it's totally live. We encourage you to tune in. Our campaign of sponsorship proudly supports Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church. Watch this.
This is Joe Saunders, former state representative and Equality Florida senior political director. And Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church.
We'd also like to thank our set designer, Concepto Modern Living here in Fort Lauderdale, for making this set and this amazing queer church campus possible.
Finally, we thank Queer News Tonight's hotel sponsor, Best Western I-95 Fort Lauderdale. This is the closest and best choice to the famous Wilton Drive, and our hosts and guests stay at this LGBTQ ally partner. We encourage you to stay here when visiting South Florida.
Well, next up tonight, we're going to present our special financial segment called LGBTQ Money Talks. Tonight, we have our financial planner, David Treese. He is a certified financial fiduciary with Cetera Investments. He is going to help us with unique financial needs of the LGBTQ community. Welcome, David, and welcome to Queer News Tonight.
Great to be here.
Let's jump right into the questions. Faye, why don't you tee it up?
Yes, let's do this. David, I'm an older gay man. It's not the first time I've ever said that, actually. I'm an older gay man, and I am aging alone and worried about making sure I am taken care of. Can you give me financial advice about what I should be doing right now?
Well, Faye, first of all, you look fantastic for being an older gay man.
Thank you.
This is a great question. I have so much respect for our LGBTQ seniors. It's like insert Tony Lima joke here. So we're picking on you so much.
Wow.
David.
I have just fallen in love with David Treese.
Nobody's safe anymore. And I should talk.
My goodness. This is going to appear in a blooper reel, I assure you. All right.
This is a big issue for the LGBTQ community because we do have so many seniors who are aging alone or at risk of aging alone. And so this is something that's near and dear to my heart. I'm a gay man, and I've had a lot of older people who fall into this category. And so we've actually created a website. If you go to soloager.com, there's a ton of resources there. So the good news is, even though it may sound intimidating or frightening to be aging alone, there's a lot you can do. We want to make sure that you've got your legal documents done, that is a power of attorney, advanced healthcare directive, so somebody can make a decision for you. If there's truly nobody, of course, we always want you to have a friend or a family member, but if there's truly nobody, you can name a trust company, and we'll even work with that trust company. So there is always an option, and that trust company then will make those decisions for you, and there's no cost to name them, and then they're only going to charge hourly if they actually have to work. And you should definitely have something in place so that the government doesn't make decisions for you. You get put under a guardianship. So there are solutions. You should
David, I want to make sure that I provide the soundbite of what I just heard you say, because I did not know this until right now. Your website on this specific issue for seniors in their planning, LGBTQ seniors, is soloager.com. A-G-E-R.
Yep. In fact, this is a great term because I used to talk about, without saying it this way, the alones, my alones, because I worried about these people, but that's kind of depressing.
Oh, that's absolutely fabulous. That is really great.
Well, we've changed it to be more positive and put all those resources there so you can be alone and still be fabulous and get all the help that you need.
Yeah. Well, look at Tony. He's okay with it.
Yeah.
He's writing down the website right now.
I just did, actually. I just did. But I have another question, actually, David. I'm behind in saving for retirement, and I know I need to invest, but I don't want to take a lot of risk either. Do you have any investment suggestions?
Marry somebody wealthy.
I'm working on that.
It's interesting. A good advisor should try to balance your risk and understand your risk and not try to make you take on more risk than you're comfortable with. So I really appreciate that. And a lot of us in the LGBTQ community, for various reasons, are behind. And I've seen it with people who are HIV positive and never thought they'd live so long, or people who are just struggling with so many issues throughout their life, they haven't followed a normal retirement plan. So we work with some advisors, or some money managers rather, who will invest, but then go to cash in a crisis for you. So you're not having to make those decisions or ride it to the bottom. There are other ways that you can invest with guarantees. We work with some, even though they're CDs and they're FDIC insured, there are some that are tied to the market, so you can possibly get a better return and it's still guaranteed. Insurance companies have annuity products that will guarantee rates of growth and income for you. We always have to say that those guarantees are only based on the claims paying ability of the insurance company, but there are ways that you can invest for growth with some risk control.
You know, David, many of the things that you recommend at Queer News Tonight is based on having the professional expert advice, or maybe that's the wrong word, expert advice, but the professional advice that we're looking for in the LGBTQ community. And that made me think that this question was really interesting. How do I choose a financial advisor? Obviously, you're sitting in front of our community, but in general, let's say it wasn't you and they didn't know about David Therese. How do you choose a financial advisor, and how do you do background checking to make sure that they are LGBTQ friendly and to make sure that there aren't any issues that I should be aware of? How do you do that?
You know, this is such a super important point. I think people sometimes just assume that the person that you're working with is trustworthy or that they're capable, and you can do background checking on anybody whose securities licensed. If you go to finra.org, that stands for Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, FINRA.org, you can check our records. You can see if there are any problems, customer complaints. I actually wrote an article for the Miami Herald because they did a feature on another financial advisor, and I was curious, and I went in and I checked that person's record, and there was a racketeering charge. There were all sorts of customer complaints, fines, that person had tax liens, and so I kind of complained. I said, how do you do an article on somebody like this without pointing it out? And so even the reporters didn't know. So you can check that website. Another thing in terms of somebody being LGBTQ friendly, which I also think is super important, you want to know who you're working with, you go to their website. Are there pictures of same-sex couples? Is there something there that's targeted towards the LGBTQ community? For example, we've got a whole tab. You can click on that tab and get all sorts of information. And a lot of communities have gay and lesbian chambers of commerce. So you can go there and try to see who's reaching out and working with the LGBTQ community, and that person should...
David, I'm curious, as a follow-up to that, here in South Florida, for example, we have the Fort Lauderdale gay chamber. We have one in Miami and Miami Beaches. Is membership in a gay chamber really kind of a one-on-one experience? If you're a member, you're committed to the community. If you're not a member, you're not as committed to the community. Is that what that says? I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah, I think there's some truth to it. If it's a large company, they may purchase a membership and name some people, but generally speaking, the people who are members are committed to the community. They may be part of the community or allies of the community. You still want to do your background checking and make sure that the comfort level is there. But our industry, I'll say this, is older, white, male, conservative, and you want to know who you're working with and what they think and their experience with LGBTQ people. I'm on the National Council of our Satara Advisors Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Board as an openly gay man. And I think you really want to know who you're working with, if they're not working at cross purposes and sending their money to causes, their candidates that might be anti-gay.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Very valuable tonight. That is tonight's LGBTQ Money Talks. We're here every Monday with contributor David Treese to answer your questions. All you have to do is send them to us, Facebook, or send an email, however you want to communicate to them, and we'll answer as many questions as we can. Do you need financial assistance? We encourage you to contact David directly at Satara Investments, and we thank you as always, David, and we'll see you next Monday night. We are going to end tonight's broadcast with the big finish. These are today's silly or news that entertains the LGBTQ community. I'm wondering if there's any senior stories we're going to be covering. Apparently not. The big finish. First up, the big finish. Mike Pence Prance. Have you heard of it? Well, it's being mocked in gay Twitter, and it goes viral.
Mike Pence, you are the next contestant on The Price is Right.
I want to scream, yes, queen, yes.
Yes.
What a feeling.
You know, for somebody who is so anti-LGBT and a wife who teaches in a Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C. school that is so anti-LGBT, I swear all of my radar goes off. Now, I know that's bad and I shouldn't say it, but all of my radar goes off, especially when I see him prance.
He runs like me.
Yeah. I think that's what I just said. You know, it's kind of like Mike Pence night here in the Big Finish, because our next Big Finish is how Netflix's The Prom. It debuted on Saturday. The Prom musical was inspired by Mike Pence. Now, if you haven't watched, it is must see. It is must see. This is going to probably be as historic in nature as Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Really?
Every stereotype you can possibly imagine about gay is in it. And they can get away with it because Ryan Murphy did it. But every joke you've ever heard about gay is in this, and they sing and they dance and they twirl, and
they did a really good job.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet. I know Tony has, and I hear that it does justice to the play. I saw the musical on Broadway, and it was amazeballs. So I look forward to seeing this.
I was just going to say that I saw it on Broadway originally, and I thought it was fantastic then. But this is, I think, so much better than the musical. First of all, it's a star-studded cast, like everyone
Meryl
is in the
Streep.
show. It's, right,
They
led
must
by
have
Meryl
paid
Streep.
for, I mean, they must have worked for peanuts, because you can't get this cast together.
Incredible. Nicole Kidman, James Corden. It's just really, really fun to watch, but also really emotional. Like, I shed a tear 2 or 3 towards the end, I have to say. So watch The Prom on Netflix. Do yourself a favor.
I hadn't seen The Prom on Broadway, and I did not follow the storyline. We reported it earlier in the year at Queer News that it was coming, but I really didn't know the storyline. And come on, it's set in Indiana, in some small town in Indiana, and with teachers and the PTA that is anti-LGBT. It's like, come on. Ryan Murphy has just taken a page right out of the book, and they have written music about being gay and being, anti-gay, and they do a dissertation and song about the Bible and what the Bible says, and if you masturbate, you're cutting your hands off, and if you do X and Y and Z, it's just unbelievable.
It's fantastic. It is.
Of what it comes to. It's funny, I posted about this over the weekend of watching it and said, oh my gosh, I've just finished this. And I got creamed by so many people. And my point was, well, whether you like it or not, it's still historically significant that something like this would exist. It's impossible 5 years ago that something like this would be broadcast, and it's because of the sheer force of will of a Hollywood superstar now, and that is Ryan Murphy. He's made it happen.
Is there anything that Ryan Murphy has made that has sucked?
Yeah.
Anything?
No, it's true. Well, some of the seasons of American Horror Story, I'm just saying. But Al, I'm curious, like, what were the naysayers saying on your post?
They thought Meryl Streep was scrubbing the bottom of the barrel, that it was too low for her, and that they hated James Corden.
Wow.
And Nicole Kidman wasn't very good, and it is cheesecake-ish. But that's not the point.
That's the fun of it.
That's the point,
yeah.
isn't it? Like,
That's the point of it. So
wow.
Everybody has an opinion, and some people like seniors, some people don't. In the big finish, an invasive species, have you heard, of giant lizard has been making its way through the Southeast and is now present in the homes of him, and her.
Oh no.
Oh, so this is actually a lizard. I thought we were talking about Donald Trump coming down here talking about 2024's, election or something. Oh, gross.
It's a 4-foot lizard that bites. We're not talking about green iguanas. This is a 4-foot. They brought him in as pets, and then they got too big and they said, okay, what's the natural thing to do with my pet? Let him run free in an ecosystem that has never seen him before. And that's how you get 20-foot boa constrictors in the Everglades and green iguanas, and now this lizard.
What's this lizard called again, Al? You knew the name.
I really don't remember.
Who cares? It's called Yuck.
It's called Scary. I was going to say, where was it seen? Where was it seen in South Florida so we can all avoid the area?
I think it's a lovely story because I tell my friends all over America and all over the world, until you have come to South Florida specifically, you just don't know what goes on here in South Florida. We have Hialeah, and now we've got giant lizards.
It's true, because South Florida. Yes.
Well, everyone, that is today's news for the LGBTQ community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ evening news show. Is our community important to you?
Then help us by liking and subscribing. Ring the bell for updates. Share this news. We are the only television live video news that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support.
I'm sorry, the executive producer's on the phone with the Cuban-American community for my Hialeah joke, apparently. I'm your anchor, Al Ferguson, and on behalf of Anchors Faye, and the very distinguished yet older gentleman,
take that.
Tony Lima.
I'll absolutely take that off.
We will see you daily and tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Good night, America.